Hello everyone, hope you're well. This is CoinsKid, just going to XRP once again. Thank you support. Okay, big the CoinsKid crew. So XRP yesterday, it came up lovely into that resistance of that trend line and boom, rug pulled yesterday and took out that head of that inverse head and shoulders pattern. So it's really unfortunate. Got stopped out on that little micro trade, but you can't win them all. It is what it is. This is trading. Welcome to trading. Nothing is guaranteed. This is why you always have a little bit of a stop loss, to minimize your risk right there. So that trade's gone against me. So I'll just be patient for the next trade, for XRP. I just need more sense of direction from XRP at the moment. It's crabbing, it's going sideways, it's pushing towards some kind of price compression, and I'll show you that in today's video. We've got an ascending level support and a descending level of resistance right now. So there is a very important thing that happened for Bitcoin on the weekly time frame with last week's close. Just there, we did see on this indicator called the hash ribbon indicator, we saw a buy signal. Now, how accurate is this particular signal? It's pretty cool, to be honest with you, but one thing it doesn't do, historically, and again, it's not guaranteed that it will play out like this in the future, but this is pure data that I'm relaying to you. One thing we never see in a bear market, which is what a lot of people are calling for here, a bear market on XRP and Bitcoin, so on and so forth, is we don't typically see a buy signal, a hash ribbon buy signal in bear markets. Here's your peak in 2021, then Bitcoin rolled into that horrible crash and correction, and then there as well, and then there as well, and there as well. So these have been your bear markets for Bitcoin. You have these whopping uptrends, rug pull, whopping uptrends, rug pull, uptrends, rug pull, uptrends, rug pull, and right now we're in this beautiful uptrend where I've relayed to you, structurally making higher highs and higher lows at the moment. Now, one thing we don't typically do in a bear market, once we've entered it, we don't actually print a buy signal. It's not bullshit, it's just pure data that I'm relaying to you right now. So again, you can get this into your charts. Just go to indicators right here, type in hash, and it's the first one, hash ribbons in by Caprio Investments right there. This is the oldest chart that I can find on Bitcoin. To get this, go to the ticker at the top, BTC/USD, and you want the third one down, all-time high history for Bitcoin right there. So basically, since inception, impulsive, huge bear market, impulsive, correction, impulsive. So at some point we will come in for this big correction, but typically once we're in a big correction and we are rolling over and we've entered some kind of bear market or prolonged downtrend like this for Bitcoin, we don't typically have and print these buy signals on the weekly time frame, the hash ribbon indicator, which historically every single one has been fruitful from the position that it's printed. Every single one historically that has ever printed in this particular chart has always been fruitful, although at the time it wouldn't have felt like it. And if I'd have been making videos way back here and we'd have had this indicator, on this drawdown is an idiot, on this drawdown is an idiot, on this drawdown is an idiot, I don't know what he's talking about, Bitcoin's in a bear market, so on and so forth. But what I'm relaying to you right now is simple data that in bear markets, okay, we do not print hash ribbon buy signals in bear markets. That's really simple. So if it's right now a bear market from this point here where Bitcoin's running into that resistance, this is the first time in history that we are printing a buy signal on the weekly hash ribbon indicator in a bear market. So obviously it's a first time for everything and time will tell, but at the minute structurally, and I've gone through this with you, I don't actually think Bitcoin's entered a bear market. I think it's entered some kind of irregular expanded flat correction, as is XRP. It's getting really nasty, it's getting really drastic, but everyone's getting really, really depressed and despair. But if we take a look at an indicator created for yourselves called the CoinsKid crystal ball, you can clearly see that liquidity comes back into the market, gets withdrawn from the market, correction, comes back into the market, gets withdrawn from the market, correction, comes back into the market, gets withdrawn from the market, correction. And the crystal ball, if it's anything to go by, that was a beautiful impulse, and right now we could and should really be, respecting the crystal ball, because this comes up, Bitcoin comes up, this comes up, Bitcoin comes up, this comes up, Bitcoin comes up, and eventually, slowly but surely, if Bitcoin turns around with the confluence of facts, okay, we're not necessarily in the bear market from this point, which is what analysts are looking at, then we should be following suit with the crystal ball indicator, which is based on M2 global money supply. So again, this is why I don't necessarily think we've entered a bear market. I think we've possibly got some horrible correction, yes, but if you take a look for Bitcoin at the moment, this correction is just what we've done so far since its bottom in November. We've had multiple corrections. If we take a look at this one, this was nasty. This was roughly 24%. This one here from, I think it was March in 2023, this came down, bottomed around about 20%. Then this one, this was a bit of a correction just there. That was around about 20%. From there to there, this was a big one. This lasted for quite a long time. This was a big one. This was 32%. And right now, currently, from this peak just there, Bitcoin is down roughly 28%. currently trending 22% down below its all-time high. But like I've always taught you, you will see altcoins get absolutely smashed up, because this is why altcoins take off like this, because when Bitcoin does these little corrections like this, just look at the altcoin charts, they absolutely rug pull 50, 70, 80% in comparison to Bitcoin. This is why there's so much volatility to the upside in altcoins, because there's so much volatility to the downside when they do have them corrections. But the one key thing we have to look at and respect is Bitcoin. And currently, if we take a look, we've got a low, a higher low, a higher low, and currently we're still maintaining this higher low trajectory, and equally we've got this higher high right now still for Bitcoin, slowly but surely trending up the stairs. So if we are in a bear market, then why have we printed that signal that we never print in bear markets? So in my opinion, and again, nothing I say is financial advice, I actually think there's a wave missing there, and I've gone through this a million times. Whether or not Bitcoin falls over and does it something like that, absolutely possible, but I do think there's a wave missing here, and it could come sometime this year, because of the crystal ball indicator which I've shown you, which shows a liquidity event coming back into the market that we should not ignore. We didn't ignore it there, you shouldn't ignore it there, and you shouldn't ignore it there. It's just a glimpse into the future. Not guaranteed, please remember that. Nothing I say is financial advice, nothing I say is guaranteed. This is just pure technical analysis and pure data channel right here. Let's dive into the XRP chart right now to see what we can see, okay? So quickly before we do dive into the XRP chart, I've revamped the deck section for you. I'm adding more coins as we speak on a daily basis. I'm going to add a lot more coins in here, currently tracking around 686 coins at the moment, and this index, this changes every single minute, okay? So keep an eye on this, because I've added more data to this. At the moment, you can clearly see we've got the DEX volume, which is beginning to pick up a little bit. It's up 5.52% in the last week, and in the last day it's up 34%. So DEX is beginning to pick up a little bit. If we take a look, the last 3 months we spiked in January, been tailing off ever since, and right now it looks as though we're trying to pick up a bit here for the DEX trading. So DEX is really important, okay? You can make a lot of money DEX trading, swing trading, buy the floor, sell the high, so on and so forth. And what you want to look for on this index is micro signals of buys and macro signals for your beautiful macro entry points. So for example, just click on the filter macro signals, click buy, and it will show you all the macro coins right there that are in the floor. But again, you've got to do your own research, look at the charts. For example, FAFO, let's check this one. Check FAFO, drop that little link down, and what you've got is a drop down with all these links, okay? Do an initial rug check, I've taught you this before. Make sure it's good, okay? Risk analysis is good. We'll go back to FAFO on CoinsKid.com and see if it's worth buying a little bit of that, okay? So FAFO, I don't even know what it is, to be honest with you. I'm just a degen trader. I like to buy market caps, low caps, because that's where the big moves come from. So if you're looking to make a 10x on $100 or something like that, then you will find it in these low caps on CoinsKid.com in your buy macros and your buy micros, basically. So if we go to SolSand quickly and take a look, this is always an initial check that I do, and I've taught you this before. If you're looking for your little micro entry points, currently 827, we've got 30,000 holders. Let's take a quick look at that on CoinGecko, see what's occurring. So basically market cap 827. We've got decent trading volume, 1.29 mil. If we go down, where's this being traded? Radium, Lbank, Orca, Weeks, BingX, Mexi. So it's quite a few exchanges are trading it. If we take a look at the entire chart, so it's coming down. It came out in, when was that? Came out in January this year. It's been trending down. This might be a nice little buy. And again, nothing I say is financial advice, but I'll probably chuck $100 at this. Again, money can afford to lose, dollar cost average. And this is basically little DEX trading, how you can use CoinsKid.com to find the little micro and macro entry points right there. So if you are looking to buy this coin, all you got to do is copy the address here. You click this little link there and paste it into your Phantom wallet or Radium wallet, and you can trade it like that. Or alternatively, click the little drop down, trade on Radium, and you can buy a little bit doing that, following that process, okay? So FAFO, F-A-F-O, might be a little coin for the future. Probably chuck $100 at that today. Let me dive into the S&P 500 right now to see what we can see, okay? Looking at S&P 500, we've met all my targets. Look at this, beautiful 1.618, and the technical target of an inverse head and shoulders pattern, which I've shown you on the red trend line. So basically, off the red trend line, just there to the head, here's your head and shoulders pattern. You've got your left shoulder here. You come down like this. You come back up. You got the same resistance. We were looking at this, a beautiful trade. Come back, made the right shoulder, and broke out like that. And the technical target I relay to you has always been, if confluence on that break just there, with the 1.618 being met, is equally here, okay, which is pretty much where we began to correct. The S&P 500 has done everything that I thought it would do, and I did think it was the weight that would carry XRP and Bitcoin to new highs, okay, and obviously XRP's come up, found resistance at the all-time high, and right now it's having a correction at that particular all-time high. But unless we start to see this fall into some kind of bear market, I do think there's a case here that this is just a correction that we're going through, and at some point this will turn around and get to this 2 fib at 6634. If we get there, amazing. If we don't and we roll into a crashing correction, I apologize, it is what it is, but at this point we've met all my targets, and then we roll into that crashing correction, and what we just got to do, we've just got to wait for the bottom and time it as best we can. And at that point, once we get another bullish statement in this particular chart, this is where we flip bull on XRP again, because regardless of 4-year cycles and business cycles and liquidity and indicators and hash ribbons and things like that, this is the king. This is the king of risk, and this is what I've been looking at a confidence mine analysis for a very long time. This is why when this was coming up and breaking out in, I think it was November 2023, I remained bullish on XRP and Bitcoin, and I was showing this chart every single day, and it would be the reason why I flipped bearish, okay, because I've got to respect this chart. So basically here, if go back to the videos, once this came up and made this lower low here, I think it was around about April of 2022, I flipped incredibly bearish on XRP and Bitcoin because of this chart, and I was looking at capitulation levels around about 29 cents I think for XRP, and roughly 20k for Bitcoin at that time. So, you know, again, we've just got to see the same scenario here. At the minute, this ABC could just be an ABC, okay, and obviously if it comes up and does something like that and rolls again, it's not an ABC, it's in a world of trouble. It's like it was there, okay, you've entered some kind of whopping downtrend there in this particular chart. But until that day comes, you know, I've got to remain cautiously bullish here with the structure that I'm seeing for XRP and the structure that I'm seeing for Bitcoin, and obviously the structure that I'm seeing for the S&P 500. Now what is concerning, obviously we're losing the ribbon at the moment, so you could potentially be where you were there. So if we get some kind of lower high that comes up and then another drop, if we start to lose the pivot point like that, then you've entered a downtrend. And until this, you know, chart creates another uptrend where you create a low and you come back up and you retest it in higher high, higher low structure like you did here, you know, and you're breaking level of resistance and you're breaking a potential pattern, then, you know, that's the time to be bullish on this chart again. But until that day comes, we're in sort of limbo. It's a 50-50 at the moment. Obviously you've hit a level of resistance, you've met the technical target, we've met the 1.618, which has always been confluence that this chart is bullish, which is why I remain bullish on XRP and Bitcoin. But if this chart starts to print bearish market structure, we have to respect this over everything, and at that point we really have got to project down for XRP. So until that day comes, I'm cautiously bullish here for XRP because of the structure of this particular chart. So, you know, in theory, what I think we've got here is basically an irregular correction. You've got a free wave down, free wave up, and right now you're in a C wave of such a correction that's come down like this. Everyone's getting really, really fearful, but this could simply be a correction before continuation to the upside. And the wall of money, basically a crystal ball, is showing that, you know, potential scenario of that. There's your liquidity leaving the market, there's your ABC for, you know, the S&P 500, then liquidity coming back into the market. So over the next few weeks, the next few months, if we do start to see some kind of V-shape here for the S&P and it comes up into the 2 fib at 6634, that's where I think the catalyst for the bear market is, and not necessarily here. Okay, so it's very important we pay attention to this chart going forward. A lot of people, they only want me to show XRP and things like that, but I always show the charts, confluence my analysis. You know, for anyone that's been on the channel will know how bullish I flipped on XRP in January of 2023. I said to you, wow, this is it guys, I'm looking at 82 cents, you know, and a lot of people said, no way, you're an idiot, unsubscribe and things like that. But we were trading around about 30 cents at the time. It was an amazing sweet spot. Came up 1.618 in a summer, this corrected, was confluence of XRP correcting, and right now this has been correcting, it's confluence of XRP correcting as well. So, you know, we've got to keep an eye on this chart. It's really important. It's met the technical target under 1.618. It's having a correction at that target. What does it do next? Does it enter a bear market? If it does, XRP is in a world of trouble. If it comes back up and breaks out, XRP is going to, you know, go up and have that final fifth wave, which is what we're anticipating on this channel. Let's dive into the XRP chart right now to see what we can see, okay? So looking at XRP on the 5-day time frame, we're doing something very similar we did before. We're sitting in a sweet spot on the momentum and the RSI right now. So if I drop a horizontal line in, and I've shown you this before, you know, at this point we came up, went sideways on a horizontal, holding this level of support and the ribbon on the 5-day time frame, descended level resistance, got compressed from left to right and broke out, and a final fifth wave to the upside, okay, for XRP. But what we did, we came out initially in the RSI, got really overbought, came back in, and we held this sweet spot in the RSI, which is pretty much where we are right now. We're on this sweet spot in another horizontal here. So if we do what we did before and we don't begin to deviate, and currently we're not, we should be going sideways from left to right, and we should be looking at expansion to the upside. It would get compressed in this apex of a horizontal, pretty much like what we did there, and pretty much like what we're doing here. So again, I'm looking for deviation. Don't quite see it yet. If we do start to fall out of this ascend level support, break down and lose a ribbon, then we're not doing what we did before, and we're not looking at this anytime soon. You know, we've got to come back deeper and further for XRP. Check out all the weekends, grab more momentum and then come back out, basically, because momentum and the RSI is a very important thing. I look at this all the time with you. For example, here you've come out, which is pretty much there, and then you came back down, you bounced initially, which was here off the bottom of the ribbon, then you lost the ribbon, okay, and at that point you're here and come up, make a lower high, and at that point you're dropping, you've entered this whopping correction where you're coming down like this. So it's possible that that's the future for XRP, but I want to see more structure and more clues in the charts that gives us that projection going forward, because currently at the moment we are pretty much where we were there, okay, we've come down to a sweet spot, we've come out, we've come down to a sweet spot, and we're in a horizontal like this, pretty much like we were there. So obviously if we begin to deviate, then we're there, and we're not necessarily here anymore. So this is why we've got to pay attention to the charts. The charts hold all the clues, okay, and if we start to deviate, I will immediately alert you, and at that point we've got to project to the downside, we've got to look at the loss of the ribbon, and we've got to look at a deeper correction coming back down into these zones here. So where could XRP go to if it does break down? So what we do, just drop the fibs from the top to the bottom, and at this point you've seen an impulsive move, and right now you're retracing. So if we zoom in right now, you can clearly see that currently we've popped to the upside, and right now, forget that absolutely knob on for you on that wick high, you can clearly see we're holding the 236. Okay, so if we break down below the 236 at $2.02, currently we're holding it, we're closing above it currently on the 5-day time frame. But if we do start to break down, the increased probability of a 382 being met at $1.47 is increased, because you're targeting the buybacks on the fibs as it comes down the stairs and retraces. So we'll trade all this, if it does break down and it loses 10 level support, currently it's holding it on the 236, but if it starts to close on the 5-day time frame below the 236, an increased probability of the 382 being met, well, place some bids at $1.47 for the big boy bounce going forward for XRP, and it will just be riding the waves as it comes down the stairs. Where could it go to eventually in a big correction, a big macro correction going forward for XRP? So we could get as low as a 0.5 fib at $1.13 and the golden ratio at 0.88. I don't necessarily think we'll get as low as these levels here, but it could be wrong, okay, and it's all about structure going forward. We'll ride these ways together, but at the moment there's no bias. We are sitting in a sweet spot as we did there way back here in 2017 in a horizontal, and we're doing exactly the same thing as we did in the previous cycle, right in the sweet spot. So if we begin to deviate from that particular fractal that we did there before the break to the upside, then obviously I'll immediately alert you, and the buyback will be on that fib there at $1.47 for XRP, okay, and obviously it's going to be a horrible crash. It'll just be a prolonged correction that does something like this before potentially reversing to the upside. I'll keep you updated as best I can. XRP, stay healthy, stay strong, stay tuned, take care everyone. Back to another update in XRP. Bye bye.